The title of this series is Man on a Mission. The 21st century man is facing a profound crisis. Across the globe, prisons are overwhelmingly populated by men. In every culture and societal structure, men are grappling with their role in a world that is evolving at an unprecedented pace. The rapid shifts in the status of women, workplace dynamics, and the traditional cultural expectations have left many men feeling disoriented, disheartened, angry, frustrated, and even traumatized. Indeed, the modern man finds himself entangled in a web of confusion in this cyber-technical, internet-driven, postmodern era. Men are struggling, yet many are reluctant to admit it. They are navigating a labyrinth of new paradigms and the uncharted waters of cultural and societal convergence, often without a clear sense of direction. Change, by its very nature, breeds uncertainty and can evoke fear and anxiety. For many, this fear is difficult to process, leading to a range of negative reactions. These responses, denial, ignorance, isolation, anger, resistance, and resentment, can find profound impact on the environments in which change occurs. Left unchecked, these reactions can manifest as oppression, suppression, violence, and a desire for control. So what is the way forward for men, you may wonder? I believe the most pressing challenge facing men today is an identity crisis. Many men are uncertain about what it means to be a man, to embody masculinity, or to understand their own sexuality. Without a clear definition of manhood, they often conflate cultural, social, or traditional roles with their identity. This confusion becomes problematic as these roles evolve, leaving men questioning their sense of self. Now, tell me, how do we define a man? What does true manhood look like? How do we measure masculinity? What is authentic male sexuality? What is the purpose of a man in relation to a woman? Is there a universal definition of manhood? And if so, can it be achieved? Where do we even begin to seek these answers? These are questions I aim to explore in conversations dedicated to men. I invite you to join me on this journey. Did you know that there are 3 foundational elements that define a man? Priority, position, and vision. We will delve into these concepts together. In particular, we will explore what it means for a man to be a visionary. Ambition and vision are not the same. Ambition often serves personal gain, while true vision extends beyond oneself, benefiting not only the present generation, but also those who come, or those who are to come. A genuine vision is always larger than the individual who carries it. It is never given to a group, but entrusted to one person at a time. The role of a true leader is not only to receive the vision, but also to refine it, articulate it, and pass it on to others who will carry it forward. This is how legacy is created. When the baton is successfully handed to the next generation, then that is success. Do you, as a man, aspire to have a legacy? You may be even asking yourself, what is legacy and why is it so important? Well, because failing to plan for success is in essence planning to fail. Moreover, success without a successor is not success at all. It is failure. The true measure of leadership is not what happens while you are present, but what endures in your absence. Legacy cannot exist without mentorship. So I want to ask you, who is mentoring you? Who are you mentoring? Who are you leading? I want you to remember that leadership is not about control, but about service. It is not about wielding power, but about empowering others. It is not about manipulation, but about inspiration. The adversary's attack on men is, in reality, an attack on society itself. It is an assault on the very foundation of humanity, on marriage, family, and community. The adversary understands that by dismantling the male, he can destabilize marriages. He can destabilize marriages. He can fracture families, and by fracturing families, he can erode society. And by eroding society, he can ultimately undermine humanity. We are living in a time when God is calling us to action. He is saying, you do it. You fix it. You take responsibility for your society. God is challenging us to transform our communities by stepping into leadership with kingdom influence. So, man, what will you do? Will you rise to the challenge? Will you take action and make a difference? This message is for men who are ready to lead, not defined by age, but by maturity. It is for leaders, influencers, and those who are determined to make an impact. It is for the few who are committed to leaving a legacy by first leading themselves. It is for men who are willing to say, I don't have all the answers, but I am ready to learn. It is for those who want to be counted, who want to be leaders they were created to be. And to do this, you must set aside pride, preconceived notions, and everything you thought you knew, and embrace the change you wish to see. Each of us, you and I, has a choice to be a creator of change or to be a product of circumstance. We can either bring color to our environment or, like the chameleon, blend into it. Our focus should not be on seeking approval from others, but on seeking the approval of God. And remember, those whom God approves are truly approved. Together, you and I will unpack what it means to be a man with purpose, leading in a patriarchal society and living in prosperity. Because you, man, you matter. Your leadership matters. Your legacy matters. Now let's begin the journey. Let me be truthful though. I know this is highly provocative. The man is in crisis. Let me be honest. We are witnessing a silent emergency that is dismantling the very architecture of our society. Historically, as a man, you found your grounding in your definition of manhood through the tangible roles you fulfilled for your families, your communities, and the world at large. As a man, you knew who you were because of what your role was. But guess what? The ground has shifted beneath your feet. These traditional roles are in a violent state of transition, dissolved by cultural shifts that have failed to offer a solid replacement. And as a result, men are currently operating without a clear definition of masculinity. Men lack cultural context necessary to navigate life with conviction. Yes, many of you feel this acutely. A knowing sense that is a vital part of your identity has been stripped away, leaving a vacuum where certainty used to reside. You have lost a piece of yourself, but society has offered you nothing concrete to put in its place. This is not just an abstract philosophical problem. It is a personal crisis for every man listening to me. The direction is gone. The compass is broken. Where men once possessed a clear vision of their destination, today many feel trapped in a psychological maze. You are frustrated, stalling out, and unable to move forward with the purposeful drive that defines true masculine energy. Perhaps most damaging of all is that creeping suspicion that you are no longer wanted or needed by women. You know what I mean? The women no longer want you. This obsolescence is a poison, turning potential leaders into passive observers of their own lives. Why is this crisis of purpose so pivotal? Why must we stop ignoring it? First, because it attacks the core of your existence as a man. When a man lacks purpose, he becomes indecisive and foundationally weak. A man without a clear why is a man who cannot stand firm when storms come. He crumbles. Second, this crisis reflects a catastrophic breakdown in the dynamic between men and women. The current state of misunderstanding, poor communication, and lack of cooperation is not natural. It is unhealthy. When men are adrift, the partnership that forms the bedrock of civilization fractures. We are at a crucial crossroads. The trajectory of society depends on how we handle this moment. If you, as men and leaders, continue living in this uncertainty defensive state of mind, reacting rather than creating, hiding rather than leading, the crisis will not end. It will escalate. You will remain frustrated, living far below your God-given potential. You will die with your best work still inside of you. Moreover, the cracks in the foundation of society will grow dangerously wider. A society cannot survive without men who are purposeful, directed, and sure of who they are. Men, you need to stop accepting the confusion. It is time to find your way out of the maze. Do you know what the major problem with the men today is? Like I said, there is a crisis of identity, a rising body count. Now, I want to cut to the chase. When you look at the major problems plaguing our society, who often is at the center? Let's say it all together, men. Yeah. By the way, I am not here to attack men, but rather to support them. Now, let me go on. Please stay with me till the end. From violence and aggression to abandonment and instability, the fallout from male behavior is undeniable. It's easy for the world to point a finger and conclude that men are inherently flawed, that your very nature is toxic and needs to be re-engineered. This is a lazy and dangerous conclusion. It's time for a different perspective, one grounded in logic, not emotion. The problem, my friends, is not your biology. It's your identity. The issue isn't your maleness. It is a profound spiritual vacancy at your core. For too long, you have been taught to define yourself by what you do. Your job, your role as provider, your function in society. But guess what? These roles are temporary. They shift with the times and can be stripped away in an instant. When your identity is tied to something so fragile, what happens when it disappears? Tell me, when it disappears, what will happen to you? You are left with nothing. This is the source of the confusion, the anger, the destructive behavior we see in the man. And now, we are witnessing the most tragic consequence of this emptiness. Look at the headlines in Kenya. We are seeing an epidemic of men taking their own lives. The data is stark. Men are dying by suicide at a dramatically higher rate than women. This isn't just a statistic. It is a silent slaughter. This is the ultimate expression of hopelessness, a direct result of men who have not taken time to discover who they are and why they exist. I'm talking to you, men. I want you to understand this. Your identity is not a matter of a role. It is a matter of inherent purpose. If we are going to fix the deep-seated problems in our world, we must start with you and how you perceive yourself. I want you to think about it logically. A man who does not know who he is or why he exists is a loose cannon. He operates from a place of confusion and insecurity, which manifests as aggression, withdrawal, or a desperate need to dominate. This is not strength. This is a symptom of foundational weakness that, in most extreme cases, ends in self-destruction. Conversely, a man who understands his intrinsic purpose acts with precision and confidence. His actions are not chaotic, but intentional. He doesn't destroy, he builds. He doesn't cause fractures in society. He provides stability to heal them. Society is caught in a trap of its own making. It feels the painful effects of this male crisis while simultaneously feeding it with confusion and incomplete ideas of what men should be. This is a double-edged sword, and it is carving up our communities. Stop looking outward for answers. The world's definition of your manhood is failing you and everyone else. The real work is on the inside, internal. You must answer two fundamental questions as a man. Who am I? And why am I here? And this is not a suggestion. It is an imperative. Until you confront this spiritual and existential void, you will remain a variable in an equation that consistently produces chaos and despair. The solution to the world's problems and the crisis claiming the lives of our brothers begins when you solve the problem of your own identity. Find your true purpose as a man, and you will cease to be part of the problem and become the foundation for the solution. Now, I want to talk briefly about the consequences of the ignorance of purpose. And I want you to listen closely, because what you are feeling right now, that restless knowing, that sense that something is missing, it's not new. And it is not unique to you. And it is not a mistake. You are living through a contemporary version of an age-old dilemma that has crippled both men and women for centuries. Somewhere along the line, we lost the script. Not you alone, but both men and women everywhere. We lost the fundamental concept of what it truly means to be human, to be male, to be female, to be alive. We traded our birthright of purpose for a cheap imitation of success, and now we are paying the price. This is not about you, about where you are born, what language you speak, or the color of your skin. It is a global epidemic. The world is suffering from the consequences of ignorance of purpose. You are suffering from it. Deep down, in the quiet moments, you try to drown out with noise and work. You know it's true. You know I'm not lying. You are experiencing the debilitating effects of a misconception of purpose. You are running a race without a finish line, fighting battles without a cause, and wondering why you feel so empty when you should feel full. You don't understand who you really are. And because you don't know who you are, you cannot possibly live up to your full potential now, can you? You are operating at a fraction of your capacity, leaving your true strength, your true power, and your true legacy on the table. This is a tragedy. It is time to stop lying to yourself. It is time to stop accepting the status quo. You need to look in the mirror and ask the hard questions. Why am I here? What was I built for? And until you answer that, you are just drifting. Wake up, man. Reevaluate your life. The world doesn't need another man who fits in. It needs a man who knows his purpose. Stop suffering in ignorance and start living with conviction. I want you, just for a minute, to allow me to be blunt. You can drift for years, even decades, coasting on autopilot without ever realizing that you are living a lie. You can become comfortable, dangerously comfortable, in the role society has handed you, never once stopping to question if they are valid, if they are real, or if they are holding you back. But that time is over. The turbulence you see in the world right now isn't just noise, it's a reckoning. It is forcing you, whether you like it or you don't, to rip up the floorboards and inspect the very foundation of your beliefs about what it means to be a man. And now here's the kicker. You have a choice. You can see this crisis as a threat, or you can see it for what it truly is. A rare and powerful opportunity to discover who you were actually born to be. This is a call to self-actualization for men who are tired of going with the flow. It's your responsibility as a leader, as a man of influence, as someone who refuses to be a bystander in his own life, to put both traditional and contemporary ideas of manhood to the test. Kick those tires. See what holds up under the pressure and what shatters. It's on you to discard the hollow cliches and build a new, stronger foundation for society. And this is not a game for the timid. So what is my purpose for sharing what I have shared? The purpose of this message, the reason I'm speaking to you directly, is to hand you the principles you need to make that assessment. This is about fulfilling your true purpose, not just as a man, but as a human being. I need you to stop being passive. Stop being a passive consumer of culture. Stop accepting the definitions that have led us to this point of confusion and weakness. It's time to lead. It's time to test everything. Hold fast to what is true and build a legacy that matters. The question I ask you is, are you ready to do the work? I know you may be wondering, what authority have I to speak into your life as a woman? But there you go again. Yes, I'm a woman. There you go again. Letting cultural narratives dictate what voices you allow to challenge you. Let's get real for a bit. I've had plenty of men mentor me on how to be a woman, and that has nothing to do with their sexuality, whether male or female. I have worked closely with many men, and I can assure you, the ones who discover their identity in Christ and the reason for being here on earth have been transformed. They stop feeling the need to overcompensate or seek validation from their male peers just to fit in. They know who they are and they walk with zero apologies. The results are clear. These men have happier wives, happier children, and they actually empower their wives to flourish, all while leading their families with clarity and conviction as the true head of the home. I am a champion for men owning who they are and stepping into their God-given role, not the watered-down version of indecisive men, an indecisive version of headship that gets pushed around by their wives' expectations, but real, unapologetic leadership. Men who chart the course for their families and stand firm in their decisions. Men who view their wives as part of themselves, not objects to dominate or adversaries to outmaneuver. Men who will not, this is key, men who will not allow manipulation, nor be motivated by fear that their wives might leave if they don't consistently perform. I said it. That's weakness. And the world has had enough of weak men. A real man is one a woman can respect. A man who loves his wife as Christ loved the church. That is the mark of true strength. So if you're looking for mentorship, look no further. I have a program that is cultivated and curated especially for men. Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you feel it is time to rise up and be counted. And like I said, in this series, we are going to strip away the cultural noise and get back to the raw truth. We will address the priority and purpose of the male, not as society defines him, but as God originally designed. We will uncover this distinct identity and the specific intent behind who God created you as a man to be. This is not just another discussion about roles. It is a discussion of existence. The purpose of this is to hand you the principles necessary to make an honest assessment of your own life as a man. It is a guide to help you stop drifting and start fulfilling your true purpose as a human being. We cannot remain this confused. The time for confusion is over. It is time to discover the man who you are built to be. Lock into that identity and live with the kind of clarity and that changes every single thing around you. I'm speaking to you, man. It is time to change. It is time you said enough is enough. It's time you step out and decide, I want to find out who I am, why I am here, and what assignment God created me to fulfill.